may change the name of my podcast. I like the sound of that. I love green. Yeah, I may change it.
I like the
But
green.
I have a very special guest with me today. Former NFL player for the Browns, the Bears, and the Patriots, Jonathan Haggerty.
Hello. What's up, Green Couch?
Yes. But thank you for tuning in. Today's episode is one that I have been anticipating for a minute. I wanted to talk about basically the namesake of the name of the show, Most Likely to Succeed. I want to explain why that was even conjured up. And I felt like you were the perfect person to bring on for this one because we have similar backgrounds. I didn't go to the NFL. Y'all may not have known that, but we did grow up in similar areas.
Yes.
And so I felt like he would be a good person to discuss what success looks like because we all have it in our lives in different ways. And as you get older, you figure out, what does success look like to me? And so I just wanted to chop it up with him today for him to share his background. I will start. Coming up with the name of this show was hard, I will say. And so for me, I felt like I wanted it to reflect something that was true to my life. In school, we all had the different categories, like in the yearbook, right? Most best dressed, most
Athletic.
likely. Yeah. And of course, that was one that the people, I didn't ask for it, the people gave it to me, right? Most likely to succeed. And, at that time, I'm thinking, I want most funniest, I want this.
Right.
But it's interesting what our peers can see in us before we even acknowledge it for ourselves. So that is something, I played with a few names. I wanted it to be focused on who I am currently. It's been a recurring theme in my life, I would say, since college, just the discussion of success, because that's something it was kind of I don't want to say a burden, but it's something I put on myself to always attain, right? Coming from where we come from, the areas we come from, I felt like that was an idea that I was always chasing. For me, it was getting out of my neighborhood. That was success to me. And even when I reached those milestones or those accomplishments, it's crazy to how sometimes you feel like you haven't earned enough. And then it takes looking back to realize, I came a long way. I have to stop being hard on myself because I really came a long way.
Right.
I'm doing this at this age. I went to school. So it took me a while to really lean into being proud of myself. I think it always was other people who would acknowledge that in me, but for whatever reason I felt like, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not where I want to be. But I really had to consider the area and the environment that I came from and realize that I'm definitely the most likely to succeed, and my life speaks for that. So let's hop right in. I'm so excited that you're here today. It's been a lot of back and forth on the dates. The weather in Texas, y'all, has been
Crazy.
I'm if it doesn't rain anymore, I'm good. Hopefully we're on the end of that, going into, a new month. Let's hear from you. What is your story, and, what does success look like to you? Coming from, we'll just say it, South Dallas, as a lot of people would say. Growing up in that area where all you saw was crime, drugs, wasn't a lot of things to model after, I would say.
Right.
What allowed you to say, hey, I want to be able to make it out of this?
So, my name is Royal Jonathan Haggerty. First, I really thank you and I appreciate you for welcoming me into your space and on your podcast to, talk about some of the keys that has contributed to my success.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, growing up in South Dallas, it was not easy at all. A lot of, you use the word devastation, a lot of chaos and just a drug, environment and amongst other things. But also there were a lot of positives, one being, my mom and the way that she raised me.
Mama.
And so, and then a supporting family, right?
Yeah.
I come from a family with a lot of love. And so when you talk about success, each, from person to person, no matter who you are, different people define success in different ways. If you were to ask me personally what success is, in my years of what I learned through my experiences, is first and foremost, we have to give glory to our Creator. So knowing that our Creator created us to create, I believe He has the success embedded deep within us, and it's our job to discover
Yeah.
what that is for our lives.
Yeah.
Because we can try to emulate other people, and we can try to do what other people do and become like them, but we all have our own set of unique gifts that God has given us, and He intends for us to, I would say, partner with Him and discover that so that we fulfill that plan.
Yeah.
So success to Jesus was being what His name was. And I believe success is in the name as well. Jesus means Savior.
Yeah.
Right? Redeeming, right? So His whole plan, His whole mission was to come and seek and save that which was lost.
Right.
To redeem that which, to buy back which was lost. And so He didn't have any other mission.
Yeah.
That was His mission.
Yeah.
Because we were in sin and He redeemed us back to the Father. And so He knew that, and he wasn't afraid of that. He didn't come off His base or try to be anything.
Something else.
Yeah, something else.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of us, we try to do.
Yeah.
And obviously, environment plays a role.
Sure.
Because depending on the environment you came up in, whether it was humble beginnings or a surplus where you were giving everything spoon fed, your environment tries to shape who you are, but it's up to you to navigate and discover, what am I truly here on earth for?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, they're lost because they have so many pictures and so much information and so many words that they can't really facilitate.
Yeah, they chasing this, they're chasing that. They're watching what the next person is doing and saying, let me try to do that. When it's like, I didn't call you to do makeup. Everybody want to be a makeup artist these days,
right,
or whatever that thing is. Or I want to be a rapper.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Right.
And if that's flipping burgers, if you're called to do that or assigned to do that, nobody can do that better than you.
And to your point, growing up, that was one of the things we did. We rapped, we sang, we did talent shows, all those different things, right? And that's where you start to see those flashes of talents. Now, I can rap, but at this point in my life, I know that that's not my purpose, right? That's not my purpose. That's not what I'm on earth to do. And so when it all comes down to it, success is accomplishing the work that God gave you.
Say that again?
Success is accomplishing
the
work that God gave you.
Okay.
Because He gave us all work.
Yeah.
And some people, they may look successful to the world.
Yeah, that's good.
But when they give an account to God, God says, you didn't do what I created you to do. You made money.
Ooh,
you had
that's
a lot
convincing even me.
You had a lot of people, into you and following you.
Yeah.
But you didn't bring me the glory that I gave you,
Yes.
that I entrusted
all
in
going
you.
back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Because I think our definition, especially growing up, and it takes time to wisen up, as they say. Growing up, we see the flashy cars, the house. Some of those people can be the most drained people, have no joy. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, nor do we know what they did to even attain said success. So, you know what they say, the way you got it is the way you got to keep it.
Yeah.
And so be careful of who you're watching and emulating, saying, I want to have this bag and have this. A lot of these girls are being flued out and they're selling something for an exchange.
Yeah.
They're not going to post that part, but they're going to post the bags. They're going to post the flights,
Right.
you know, the hotel rooms. But, and I'm using that as an example of something that it seems to be glorified all the time. I'm the first person to say I'm not shading material things. I want all of that. But I want to be able to sleep at night knowing I'm proud of how I got it.
Right.
And so, again, that idea of success, we put in a box for so long because everybody knows my name. No, success is being obedient to your calling.
Come on.
If I'm supposed to open a church, if I'm supposed to start a podcast and took forever to do it, to me that's success. I don't care if it's 2 people watching. I'm successful in my own right in that way because I know I'm fulfilling a dream. I'm fulfilling a love that I have. I'm not doing this for the next person. I'm doing this because it's a vision that God has given me. And so, again, I said it at the beginning, that whole idea of success, it transformed throughout the years. I think early on in college, y'all know I went to UT, and I think that's the first time where I really felt the weight of being able to break generational curses.
Right.
That was the first time I felt that.
Right.
I always felt different growing up, you know, in South Dallas, growing up in my home. I wouldn't say we were poor, but sometimes you get older, you're like, was I poor? Because you realize the stuff you went through. You like, I think we might have been, because my dad used to say, don't say we poor, we ain't poor. But coming on the other side, it's like, oh, I think we might have been. But I would say coming from humble beginnings, you feel like, okay, I'm blessed to have 2 parents in the home and all of this. But it wasn't until I got to college and realized I'm doing something different. I'm already breaking the curse of not, you know, my parents, neither one of them went to college.
Right.
And, well, my mom went, but she didn't finish. And so that was the first time I felt like, oh my goodness, I have never seen this model directly. I've seen it on TV from a distance, but I've never been close enough to say, it's first generation when your parents didn't go, right? Because my oldest brother, Fred went.
Right.
So, you know, I never knew if I was like first generation because I did have a sibling to go to college, 2 siblings that went to college, but neither one of my parents did. And so when I got to college, it was another layer of like, okay, I have to finish this because I've already made it to somewhere that a level that they hadn't. So I got to get a degree.
Right.
I got the degree. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You know, I don't have all the things I desire, but again, however, 21-year-old me, I have this degree. Okay, now I'm going back home. What am I going to do now? And so throughout life, you just continue to build on those things. And I wish life was easy enough to say I can predict the next step, but you don't know what is going to be thrown at you. You know, I started working right away, went in commercial real estate, hated it, quit. But I kind of had to go on that journey of figuring out success. There was highs, there was lows, but I always knew there was a calling on my life to pursue more. And I think because of the environment I grew up in, and then I come from a generation of parents that I know they're well-meaning, but a lot of times they can only reach as high as their vision allows.
Right.
And so it took me being in different environments, being around certain other like-minded people to tap into the things that I felt like, you know, whether that's networking or whatever, I have to be out there in order to see a different level.
Absolutely. You know, the keys that you said, when we talk about real success, you know, when you came out of your environment and you went into another environment and, so to speak, came out of your comfort zone. It's a whole new thing that you didn't have a blueprint for. You actually had to be the blueprint yourself, right?
Heavy.
You had to find it
That's
out.
heavy.
And a lot of times, when we talk about success and we talk about purpose-driven work, that's exactly how God intends it to be. Because for what you're going to accomplish, what I am going to accomplish, what we are going to accomplish, God has given that to us. And so we can't use anybody else's blueprint for what God has given us.
Yeah.
Because it's specific to you.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself?
Yeah.
Right? I see myself, I may not know all the steps, but I see myself doing something massively great. Right? And then what word do I believe?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the Bible says faith comes by hearing.
Yeah.
You know, and that could work in the positive way or negative way. If
Yeah.
someone is telling you that you can't, right? You start to believe that. But
Yeah.
if someone is telling you you can, you start to believe that.
Okay.
And you're around the voices. I would say get around voices that matter.
Right.
And visualize. That's why vision boards. You know, people look at it, oh, I don't want to do a vision board. Yeah. And I used to be that same person, like, I don't really see the point. But
what would be
vision boards are very important
So,
because you need to see yourself there.
So I wanna stop you there. You mentioned seeing a vision, seeing something. 15-year-old Jonathan, 15-year-old, 16-year-old John. What did you see? Whatever year that was, what vision did you see that allowed you to say, okay, I got to make it out of this environment, or I think I'm skilled enough to even pursue going to not only being able to pursue it, but actually get in? What vision did you see, and what voices were you listening to at that time to take you from point A to point B?
So I'm glad you asked that. The vision actually happened way before age 15. It happened probably around the age of 6, 7, 8.
So at 6, you knew I had a future in the NFL.
Because, well, you know, we played football outside in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then the picture that I saw was when the Dallas Cowboys were playing in the NFC Championship and winning those NFL championships. I remember being a kid looking at the environment like, wow, that's what I want to do. And so the voice that I listened to was my voice first. So I was like,
my voice.
You know, in my mind, I was like, I want to do that. And I didn't know if it was ever going to become a reality, but I was like a kid dreaming. Yeah. You know, so I believe strategically God positioned me and gave me the visual of the picture of seeing that. I was seeing Michael Irvin, you know, spike the football, Deion Sanders, Emmitt Smith running touchdowns. Everybody's cheering, and I was like, wow, that looks fun. I want to do that one day.
It looks fun. I want to do it.
I want to do it. That was literally.
I mean, that sounds like a 6-year-old. You probably don't even know the magnitude of the NFL. You're just like, that seems fun.
I was like, if I can do that one day, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you talk about the journey, and you talk about environment. Everything in the environment says that's impossible. But the Bible says, with men, this is impossible. With God, all things are possible. Yeah. And so, you know, having a strong foundation of the Word of God in my life, I began to believe and have faith. My
daddy, oil, I'm sure. He probably came over there many a times.
Yeah, and her dad.
Praying for y'all.
Which is my uncle. We call him Unc. Slapping that holy oil, that anointing oil.
Literally, you wake up, what the
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, prayers work,
Yeah.
and you know, just you know, prayers and really seeing it and visualize it, and you know, once I got to high school, I didn't get around to even starting on the team till I was a senior, and so and I got a scholarship and went to a Division II. But guess what? I said if it's not over, I'm gonna keep going, see where it takes me. And then obviously getting to my senior year in college, thinking that this might be over. I hope it's not over. And guess what? It wasn't over. I got an invitation to go play in an all-star game.
And this was your senior year?
No,
Okay.
college.
Oh, in college.
In college.
Okay.
And from there, when it came time for like the draft day, I'm condensing a story. When it came time for draft day, Cleveland Browns called me, and I said, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And, you know, all of a sudden I'm in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear how that works. Like, it's not every day I get to ask a former NFL player questions. So did they call your agent? Did they call you?
Well, on draft day, it was a little bit chaotic.
Okay.
The Minnesota Vikings was the first team to call me. The phone hung up.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, that's what I said. I said, oh.
So what does that mean if you lose the call? You can't call them back? I'm green.
I mean, I try.
Okay.
But, you know, they're on to the next person.
Really?
Time is of the essence.
So if you miss a call, it's no, we're going to call you later.
Yeah.
Literally, they don't send you a follow-up letter with it?
I would guess that it depends on the scenario and
so
person.
That's why people are like,
but in that instance,
on the couch.
My phone that I had that had never hung up. And I believe it was destiny, because you know my mom at the time she said, well, don't worry about it. That's probably God's divine intervention. If one team called, then another's call.
Wow.
And I waited.
Did you believe her, or did you feel confident in that? Did you have that same John mindset as you do today, or you were kind of like, what the heck?
You know, I was a bit of. It was a bit discouraging, if I'm honest.
Oh, yeah, you were
but
young.
also, you know, I thought to myself, hey, you know, God has brought me this far, so we'll see where it is. And then, you know, it was the longest 5 minutes of my life. But the Cleveland Browns
felt
called.
like days, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was like, wow. This is. So the Cleveland Browns called next, and then, you know, I was like, hello. And, you know, fate will have it. I signed with Cleveland.
And is that where you played with Colt?
Yeah.
Okay,
Colt,
your first, because I remember I was like,
yeah,
you were on
UT,
a call.
shout out to Colt. That's my
Colt
guy,
McCoy.
man.
You were on a call. I want to say he was like in the background. I was like, I helped protect you one day, because you know I used to do staff events like on the football stadium. I know when I told my dad, he was like, why do they have you out there? You can't do no crowd control. They had us standing with our backs to the crowd as if, you know, I could actually block a fan from coming down. So good times. So thank you for sharing that, because I think the journey is always important for people like to hear. I'm always interested in that passing of the torch, like that transitional period from college to the NFL or whatever that next step is. Like going deeper into the idea of success. So you're in the NFL. What does that look like for you at that juncture? So now I'm in. This does not look like South Dallas.
Oh my gosh.
I'm around people that have money. You used the word identity earlier.
Right.
That sometimes we're chasing it. You're fully immersed at this point.
Right.
Traveling, going from state to state in an environment that, by most people's opinions, they would say is a successful arena. How are you able to now maintain, one, your character, but how are you defining your identity in now a new environment that you're next to people with multi-million-dollar contracts? How are you now able to define your identity?
Right. I love that question. Great question. You know, when it comes to identity, before I understood, before I ever made it to the NFL, my identity is in Christ. And, you know, I'll be honest in saying that that's easier said than done. But for the most part,
be real. This
for
show,
the,
we
for
want
the
to know
most part,
the real.
for the most part, yeah, the wealth, the lifestyle, everything that's surrounded with the celebrity status, the way that fans treat you, it's all amazing and overwhelming at times. But one thing to keep that always has kept me grounded and grounded through that process was knowing that, hey, once you work to get it, you have to work to keep it because uh, it doesn't. The NFL doesn't just stand for National Football League. It stands for not for long.
I've heard that. Okay.
which
I've heard that.
means which means it's this is not guaranteed. You have to come to work every day just like someone who's a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, a teacher, a construction worker. You're just getting compensated at a much higher level, and there's a lot of excitement with it, and I have to come out and make a case for myself every day. And to be honest, I never truly felt like, oh, I have arrived, because I think once you get in the mindset of I have arrived, that could foster some complacency. And I never want to be a guy to come in and think that I already knew everything and had it down pat and this and like I wanted to be the guy that, hey, how can I get better today? How can I do more today? How can I refine my gift? How can and so when you're focused on those things, that you're not just a self-absorbed person where it's like all about the money and the flash and things like that, because that's only a small percentage of the people who are really making the blockbuster contracts in the NFL.
I like to connect dots. So at that point, you're in the NFL. Your faith, you said, is keeping you, it's sustaining you, it's getting you from level to level to level. You are now doing what you went to school for, and he's a fitness trainer as well as a motivational speaker. What led you to go back to the roots of what you did in undergrad?
When I look at the core, the core gifts that God has given me, I love sport.
Yeah.
I love health. I love fitness. I love motivating. And so when you look at those things, I've always had a love for working out and eating healthy and doing those things. Primarily because coming where we come from as well, we know what happens when you don't eat right.
Yeah.
You're taking a million medications and diabetes and is rampant in our community and stuff like that, and a whole host of chronic illnesses. And so that was one of the things growing up. And then when you talk about sport, to play at the top level, in any sport, NFL, NBA, soccer, it doesn't matter. You have to be in the best shape, right? You have to, because you're talking about world-class athletes. And so the training is on another level, right? The nutrition is on another level, right?
I remember you used to post like what you were eating. I'm just like, oh my God, it's so healthy looking. One, you're eating a lot all the time. But this is before meal prep was like meal prep. Just eating a lot. I was like, oh, they feeding them like that? That chicken look good. That grilled chicken look good.
My God.
But I just remember seeing like, what you were eating and I'm about to go to the dining hall. I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, y'all literally like big babies. Baby sleep, eat, y'all eat and work out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You eat, you work out, you Sleep, you train.
Yeah. So it's almost like, I don't want to say like a fraternity, but it's like everything you got there, it like stayed. I would say like the army.
Right.
Like you can tell if somebody's been in the army. Like,
right.
okay, the way they live.
The core values. Yeah.
It almost follows you even to now because you're still eating the same way. You're still
I mean, because
training.
they say, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that, but I would say I believe there's validity to that.
Yeah.
And I think anything you do often enough and at a high frequency, it becomes a habit or a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Whether that's positive or negative.
Just about
right?
to say that.
So it can work,
Can work against you.
I didn't like just constantly drinking alcohol and doing all that because I already know. Over time, that's going to add up to negative habits.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do something positive, something that's going to uplift.
Right.
And so, with working out, with public speaking, those have been my passions, and the platforms give me opportunities to spread my love and passion. So naturally, coming out of the NFL, I'm still in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm still doing my routine.
Right.
And, people notice that, and they, being able to motivate your teammates, being able to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
Now it just transitioned to motivating clients, motivating friends, family, people.
Sure.
Like that, so.
And I want to circle back a bit. You mentioned while you were in the NFL, when I asked about like maintaining your identity or your character, can you speak to how important it was to be surrounded by, I would just say certain people, and let you answer what type of person?
Like men of God?
Yeah, like what type of people did you have to surround yourself with in order to not be swayed by all the things that are thrown at you in the NFL? Because you get access, and I say this for any person that has a platform or status or celebrity. The only difference in what they call normal people and celebrities is access to rooms.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
You get access to rooms. And so how important was it for you to be surrounded by other like-minded people at that time? And even further, I'm curious to know whether they were in the NFL or not, anybody you met at that time that played a crucial role in like your development, spiritually, emotionally, and so forth. And are you still connected with some of those people today?
Yeah. So the number...
Nosy. I'm very nosy.
Yeah. So, just like you say, the higher that you go in life, the more accessible things are, right? And, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
So sort of the same thing where growing up in South Dallas, that if you go too far this way, it's going to equal trouble.
Yeah.
If you go too far that way, it's going to equal trouble.
Yeah.
And you have coaches, mentors, people in your life, but ultimately, again, the Word of God has always been my number one counselor. My mom, your dad, my brothers, my coaches, my friends, right? And then, obviously, myself, right? Being able to analyze and look at the outcome. Like I'm a person who I can visualize and look at things and say, okay, if I do that, I know the outcome is, so you just stay in your lane, right?
Yeah.
And not try to pretend that you're someone that you're not. And so, I mean, it's one of those things. It's very real when you're in the NFL. Like everything is accessible.
Yeah. I want to ask this. We're talking about access. We're talking about access. This is me being super, super nosy, and this is not to incriminate yourself, but we always hear like groupies and stuff, like they're waiting at the hotel. Is that true?
Yeah,
Can you confirm that to be a thing?
Yeah, no, that's real.
And it's so funny when you see it on TV because it's like people can't be that
real.
lame and predictable.
Yeah, no,
they exist. What they call, I don't know what the term is for them. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like easier for me to believe that they are like in the DMs or whatever, but like physically, actually, wait, as they say, waiting at the hotels or like lounge.
Yeah,
that is like wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes in various like forms, like
not forms.
Yeah, so like a lot of them are discreet. Mm-hmm. So, and you know, it might be the spectrum. You know, like on one end it could be
not a spread. He said y'all a rainbow.
No, I'm
coalition.
just saying that if you want to be honest, okay, on one end,
discreet,
a fan.
Yeah, I'm just a fan.
A fan who you look good to this young lady. Uh-huh. This young lady looks good to you. Mm-hmm. She knows who you are, a fan. Okay, mm-hmm. Right, and then you know. Maybe you segue into the groupies. Well, you know, I'm here for this reason. It's far more deeper than me just being a fan.
Okay.
I'm a fan of all y'all. Okay. Anytime and every time. And then you got, if you want to go a little further on the spectrum, you got, unfortunately, workers.
Yeah. Yeah. He calling out what y'all are. I'm just.
You know, workers.
Yeah. Like literally a sign for that.
Yeah, it's their profession.
It's their profession.
You know, like high level.
Yeah.
You know, escorts. Yeah. So.
So you get everything in Melton Body.
Yeah, and I've been to. I've been to cities, and you know, you're coming off the bus, and you know they're timing it up as you get out. Yeah.
How do they know?
I'm from South Dallas, so I already know the time up.
Yeah.
And
do they have like a tracker on their phone? Or I mean, they're professionals. You're saying that they
know, you know, like no, because when you come in the city, you're getting police escorts.
Oh, okay.
So when you get off the bus,
yeah,
you know, everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
It's Chicago Bears.
What from say y'all not hard to find.
You're not hard to find. Right.
And you know what?
They know the hotel. Yeah,
when I worked at Omni, Omni is a hotel franchise. But I remember I worked in sales, and a lot of what we did had to do with booking rooms.
There you go.
So being able to get promotion, getting free rooms, or getting that to the clients if they needed it. One particular time, and this was the first time I realized how easy it was to find out where a team is staying. These companies would reach out to us months in advance to book rooms, you know, whether it's for a conference or wedding. Mm-hmm. This particular one, I can't remember. It was NFL related. I can't remember what event, but there were about 8 different teams. So being able to see, like, at that time, I was like, just being able, I thought, like, I know where the Cowboys are staying this weekend. Yeah. Obviously, they were from all over, but I had this list, and I remember looking at it like, this is months in advance. If this gets in the wrong hands, a crazy person being able to see that, having access to, I know where such and such. I know where.
You know, a picture or a screenshot, or you know, me sending. I'm working for this company. I send it over here, or and then obviously, everybody has the schedules because the schedules are public knowledge, right?
Right, but knowing
you know when they're coming to the city,
advance, like I know where the Chicago Bears are staying this weekend. Okay, let me make sure I book myself a room there on the same floor. Yeah,
you pull up to the hotels, fans are outside, and you're signing autographs. So even someone who, okay, I'm just getting dinner or
I'm passing
chilling.
through.
Yeah, I'm passing through. Oh,
yeah,
I see them.
Yeah.
So guess what hotel? Right then and there.
So it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
See, I be wondering why I don't run into stuff like that. He says it's easy and y'all not hard to find. I'm like, I realize that working there, but I'm like, I don't ever have these moments where I'm at a hotel and I'm saying, how you doing? I don't ever see that. So, you know, God must be like keeping that stuff away. I don't know why, because people have other experience. Oh, I say such and such. Even like in Dallas, you'll see some of the cowboys in uptown or whatever. I'm like, I don't ever run into nobody. So maybe I gotta venture out more. Hey y'all, so I want to share something that put the biggest smile on my face yesterday. I actually went to my parents' home and went by to visit. My mom had called me a few days ago and was like, Mel, I found this bag in the closet in the living room. And it's a lot of stuff in here. Does it belong to you? My mom always gives the worst detail. I'm like, what's in the bag? Does it look like it belonged to me? Like, can I have some more context here? She was like, it's some pictures and some lotions and stuff. I have no clue what it is. Leave it in the living room. I'll take a look at it when I get there. So I went by yesterday to visit and not even thinking about the bag. But when I went and opened it, it was a bag full of stuff from my childhood, y'all. I can't tell you the last time I even seen some of this stuff. I feel like the last time I saw it was the last time it saw me. And the fact that she has kept this stuff for so long is amazing, one, but also it just put me in the mind frame of like, oh my goodness, did she keep this for sentimental value and now she's like trying to declutter and ask if I want to hold on to it now that I have my own home. I looked in the bag, it was like report cards from elementary school. Literally every report card from elementary until high school was in this bag. There were photos of me that I hadn't seen in years, and there were like awards that I had gotten, Avon related stuff. If y'all know anything about Avon, that's like from the 90s. My mom used to do a lot of selling for the products. And so there were like strawberry, kiwi lotions in there. Where did you find this bag? She clearly has buried it somewhere. But that brings me to something I want to share with you guys. To know that she's held on to this stuff for years is astounding. And so I immediately told her, like, do not throw any of this away. This is the stuff that I want to show my kids. But y'all, there were letters of recommendations, and I have a lot of it here. There were letters of recommendation. I'll put some of this on IG so y'all can like see it up close. It is hilarious. Letters that I wrote to schools as a part of their application process. So I found this one letter, and I think it ties in really, really well with today's topic on success. This was a letter I wrote dated June 13th, 2003. So I was in the 6th grade. And I wrote this letter as a part of my admission package to the W.H. Atwell Law Academy. So, I'll read it. Why an academy is my choice. I'm an intelligent 6th grade student at Charles Rice Elementary School, looking forward to attending your wonderful school for the upcoming year. W.H. Atwell has always been my desire for my junior high school ever since the 4th grade. If you will allow me, it is now my honor to explain the reasons for my interest in attending Atwell. First, I have heard so much about Atwell, of course, only the best. For example, when I attended the Townview Magnet Fair, several parents and their children who were also interested in the middle schools were constantly elaborating. First of all, let me just say the word for a 6th grader, I'm on a different level, y'all. I mean, writing was always my thing. Elaborating on how much Atwell had to offer. There, I also met one of Atwell's 8th grade students named Paula. Paula, if you're out there, I have no clue who Paula is. She spoke very fondly of Atwell Academy and had so much to say. Paula told me how the students are required to do lots of projects that are really worth the time. She told me how the 8th grade choir is going to Atlanta, Georgia for a competition, how good all of the sports teams are, and that they do bundles of field trips. Paula represented Atwell so well that I was very much persuaded, even more so, to apply because of all her informative input. Secondly, WH Atwell is the type of school where a comfortable learning atmosphere is felt. What do I mean by that? My visit. Bravo! You've guessed right, the open house night. Aren't you smart? I don't know why I wrote like this. It was very much conversational. The open house night gave me the opportunity to see what Atwell was really like, other than hearing it from the horse's mouth. While there, I visited some of the classes. I went to take a look at the mock court. Boy, talking about real life cases, it had my mouth dropped open the whole time. Next, I eased on down the road to the science room. The room was illuminated with solar planes everywhere. As soon as I saw that, my eyes were as big as if they had been magnified up to 50 times. Well, not really that much. Anyway, all I could do was just look and wonder and be marvelized. Soon, it was time to go. This letter is literally cracking me up. But certainly not without cookies and fruit punch. You know I'm gonna eat. That's been forever me. Yes, indeed. We had a delightful refreshment. Then it was time to go. Finally, I would love to attend Atwell because I know any student with high academic skills can apply themselves would make an excellent Atwell student. I believe that I am the type of student that Atwell Academy is known for, and I am asking you to please consider me. I would be a great asset to the Atwell student body. I know that's right! You have now heard my 3 main reasons for attending William Hawley Atwell. Oh, I gave the full government. So if someone smart, beneficial, and creative is what you're looking for, then what do you suppose? Y'all, it almost brought tears to my eyes. Not only this letter, but there were other letters in here that I wrote for each juncture of my life. Going to Townview and seeing all of these recommendation letters from teachers and piano teachers and academic like homeroom, and even one from Coach Fuller. If y'all went to Charles Rice back in early 2000s, y'all know who that is. I'm looking for him because I have not even seen this man's face since I left there in the 6th grade. But he wrote me a letter. This stuff had me laughing, but also it warmed my heart to know at an early age I had such aspirations. I think this was really fitting for today because it encapsulates so much of who I am today. I can't even show y'all everything that was in there. It was literally a package of what I am today. I wrote like a last will and testament. I was really, on my way to law school. It reminded me like why I'm so creative today, why I'm so assertive, and the way I write, the way I talk. This is proof of that. This is proof that it had always been there. I wanted to share that, and I would encourage you guys to take a trip back memory lane to compare to where you are now. I really appreciate you sharing your journey.
Oh, no problem.
With me today on this rainy Saturday. The discussion was amazing, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. Do you have anything that you're currently working on that you would like people to stay tapped into?
Well, I mean, I'm always in the lab working, training, and if you want to follow me for inspiration, then you can follow me at Instagram, Royal J Haggerty. That's RoyalJHaggerty.
Definitely stay tapped into what I'm doing. Hopefully these previous episodes have been enlightening and entertaining for you guys. As I'm releasing these, I'm watching them back, seeing what do I have to correct? So I definitely want to produce good content for you guys because that means a lot to me. But stay connected with me on both of my IGs, Mel 3 underscores, Raquel Raquel, and Most Likely Pods. Really simple. That concludes this episode of Most Likely to Succeed. Hopefully you enjoyed. Stay connected, and I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.
You're most likely to succeed. Believe it.